I am here with Anthony Cook from the BSU College Republicans and Joe Clabough from the BSU University Democrats. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for our guests. I'd like to start by thanking you both for being here. I understand you guys don't always get along, just based on the titles that you're holding. So starting off, what first got you guys involved in your respective clubs? Did you join like right when you came to college, or is this like a election year thing for you guys?
No, actually, I think I first got involved sophomore year, so about 2 years ago now. It was just, it was a club that I had, interested in just because of my personal beliefs. Checked it out, and then been going ever since.
And you?
I got involved my freshman year and have continued to remain involved, and now I serve as chairman of the organization.
Okay, so have you guys always been involved in politics, or was this just kind of an interest you had when you came to college? I guess if you want to answer this one first too.
Yeah, no, it kind of something I've always had. Late high school, kind of picked it up after my father, and just got really involved college.
You?
My parents started me very young. I called into the Sean Hannity show in 5th grade. So,
okay, so
yes.
You've always been a Republican.
I was raised right.
All right. You should be hosting the show. And so were you always a Democrat too then, or is this kind of like a phase for you?
No. No. No, so I started out on the left. Unfortunately, my dad now is starting to hit his old age phase where he's becoming a bit Anthony-like.
Okay, so obviously you two are both involved in an on-campus organization for politics. Do you guys feel it's important for people our age to get involved in politics, and why exactly? Like, I'm assuming you both kind of have some message for that.
Absolutely, I think it's super important for young people to be involved. All of us at college level, we can vote, and I think a lot of people forget that all these issues, everything that's happening right now, whether it's national, state, or even local, it all matters. It all matters to every single one of us and affects us in some way or fashion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, millennials and just young folks in general make up such a large part of this country. And, if we just don't turn out and vote, that means that so many Americans essentially aren't voicing their opinions on not just candidates, but issues themselves that, have long-lasting effects.
All right, you guys weren't supposed to agree on that, so now we have to rewrite the episode. But so obviously earlier in the episode we mentioned that Indiana kind of has a really low voter turnout. I mean, what do you guys? Are you both from Indiana initially? Are you both voting in Indiana this election, or are you guys either of you guys from Illinois, or one of those people on that side of the border?
I'm a registered Indiana voter.
Same here.
All right, it'd be a little bit embarrassing if you guys weren't. So what do you guys think about the voter turnout? Do you think we could be doing better, or is that kind of what you've come to expect from Indiana?
I was shocked. I think with the selection of Mike Pence as the next vice president, because Trump's going to win, I think you'll see a huge increase in that percentage.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because I like Mike.
Yes. Speaking of Pence, do you guys feel that we focus as a culture or as a community too much on the presidential election? I know you kind of mentioned earlier how the down ballot races kind of get downplayed. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would definitely say, I wouldn't say that we put too much focus on it, but I definitely think that we lose sight of the less sexy political races, the ones that can definitely affect our day-to-day lives more than just the executive. And
so, is this both of your first presidential elections that you're able to vote in?
Mine, yep.
This is my second.
Oh, okay, so he's got one up on you already. Yeah. And then, obviously, a lot of people are fairly lukewarm about the current candidates. Not many people thought that this would be the election we were having. Did either of you guys have another horse in the race, someone you would have rather seen be your party's nominee, or were you with your current candidate kind of from the beginning?
Originally, I was feeling the burn, but I definitely kind of got on the whole "let's write in Joe Biden" movement for a little bit. But the whole time, I always kind of thought it would be Hillary. I was thinking the Clinton-Bush rematch.
Right, that would have been a good sequel.
Yeah. Round 2.
Bush Clinton 2, Electric Boogaloo. And then Anthony, were you originally a Trump supporter? Or
I have been a passenger on the Trump train since day one.
Oh, okay, that's impressive. Not a lot of people were.
There are very few of us been.
So speaking of people who were possibly could have been president earlier in the election, a lot of people have kind of almost forgotten about him by this point. We actually figured we would catch up with our good old pal Ted Cruz in our next segment of Where Are They Now? Take a look. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to BSU Tonight. For our next segment, in the spirit of democratic discourse, we decided that it would be fitting to have a debate. So to my right, from the Republicans, we have, once again, Mr. Anthony Cook. And appropriately to the left, from the Democrats, we have Mr. Joe Clabough. Now, I would like to remind both of our candidates that though these may be very divisive issues, please keep it civil. Our first question, in your opinion, is there any difference in taste between real and imitation vanilla? Let's start with you, Mr. Clabough.
You know, I think when you're talking about vanilla, the important thing you have to remember is that it's best served with a spoon. And I want to give you that spoon, America.
All right, appropriate for a debate, did not actually answer the question. Over to you, Mr. Cook.
He's wrong. Wrong.
Well, this is turning out strikingly similar to the real ones. For my next question, a topical issue right now. In your opinion, who is going to win, Cubs or Indians? Mr. Cook, let's start with you.
Cubs, of course. We've got to root for the underdog. Trump is the underdog. The Cubs are going to make America great again, as is Trump.
All right. And you, Mr. Clabough?
The thing I like about the Cubs is that they aren't the Indians, which, let's face it, this is a non-PC team. They need to change their logo now. But I'm just kidding. Believeland.
You both misunderstood the question. I was speaking about grizzly bears versus Native Americans, but let's move on. Do you consider JJ's to be a real restaurant on par with Subway, or is it more just glorified catering? Let's start with you, Mr. Clabough.
Subway all day. Last time I was in Jimmy John's, they've messed up my order. I find that their sandwiches are just generic, things that I could make at home. So it's glorified catering, to say the best.
Compelling argument, Mr. Clabough. And you, Mr. Cook.
You know what? There really is only one way to answer this question. Joe was just wrong. He's just absolutely horrifyingly wrong. Jimmy John's is a real restaurant.
All right. And for our next question, are any of us truly innocent? Oh, nope, that one's from the Dream Journal. Is public urination ever okay? Let's start with you, Mr. Clabough.
I would say, shout out to my old roommate Brevin. He would say it's a yes. That guy, he could pee and walk, which really says something.
A little bit too much. And you, Mr. Cook.
That's a skill I don't possess, so I would say probably not.
All right. And for our next question, in a fairly fierce race, Taco Bell and McDonald's both offer breakfast items now. Which of the two is superior hangover food? Let's start with you, Mr. Cook.
I would say McDonald's is probably the hangover food. Taco Bell is typically what you get pre-hangover. That's the 4 o'clock in the morning purchase that stimulates the economy.
Taco Bell will give you a hangover. And you, Mr. Clabough?
McDonald's for the hangover, Taco Bell for the high.
If you couldn't already tell who was the Democrat. And for our next question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Let's start with you, Mr. Cook.
The egg, of course.
That is correct. Last time I went to get groceries, I got eggs. And for our very last question, one that I fear has divided this country all too much, which color is the dress? Blue and black or white and gold?
I think we can say, without a doubt, that dress is blue and black.
He chose blue because that's his party's color. It's definitely white and gold.
Lies.
Well, you guys might not be able to tell it, but the tension here, you could cut it with a knife. So why don't we just take a moment, let's just breathe, and why don't you guys check out this next package?
Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe below, or feel free to follow us on all our various forms of social media, or just check out another video. There's stuff floating right here.